All right, testing. Yeah, that's right. You want to make your own studio. All right, so we're gonna take a look at Blender. I believe the controls right now are set to the one where it says industry standard. Yeah, and you can go to edit and then preferences, and then there's navigation. Where's the input? Hang on. Where's the option? The interface? Nice rendering. I'm looking for that option. Where is it? Yeah, I can't. Key map. Okay, here we go. Yeah, see over here. Yeah, edit, preferences, key map. What's really nice is that the more recent versions of Blender, particularly 2.8 and up, have this option to change the keyboard shortcuts, which is a godsend for people who are used to 3ds Max or Maya or anything else. So you can change that here to industry compatible, and then it'll feel a lot more like Maya, which y'all did for this last assignment last week. Well, there's not one from. It's more of like, it's a combination of the two a little bit. Yeah. So yeah, there's that. This is your viewport, right? You've got some of your tools over here, right? Q, W, E, R. So Q is kind of like selecting things, right? W is to move, E to rotate, R to scale. You can hold down Alt and orbit around a shape. Alt and middle mouse button to drag it around. Alt right mouse to zoom in, and then the scroll wheel. And then let's say click on something, press F. It'll focus the camera on it, right? And then we have our different modes up here. So there's layout for moving things around. If you want to do modeling, that's this one. Sculpting, UV editing, animation rendering, all the stuff. Over here, the scene collection is like a list of everything that's in your map or your file. So there's my cube. There's a light, right? I'm going to get rid of the camera and the light because we're not going to need those, right? And then if you click on something, this section here, right, it'll have the properties, right, of what you're trying to do and whatnot, right? Kind of like an Unreal. So location, X, Y, Z, rotation, scale, that good stuff. All right, so here's our cube, right? You probably start with a cube. If you want to add a shape, you can go up here to add mesh, and you can pick one of these here. So I just have a plane right now, or I'm sorry, not a plane, a cube. Whoops. If you click on something, right, and then you press W, what's cool about Blender is you can press and hold the key of that axis, and you can move along that. So, for example, if I hold down Z, I lied. Oh, is this not? Oh. There we go. Okay. I'm thinking of well, X snaps it. I'm sorry. Am I thinking of? Okay. Yeah. So this one doesn't work exactly like the one. Okay. Never mind. Ignore that. I'm just pressing random keys now. Go back. All right. New file. Don't save. I don't know what I pressed. Whoops. Alright, so these controls are a little bit different from mine, I guess. Alright, so we have our shape here, right? Over here in the top right corner, you have X, Y, Z, right, for your different transforms, right? You can click on any one of these and it'll snap, which is really nice, right? You can also click and drag and orbit around. Move the shape, so that's really nice, right? And then when we want to go and modify the components, right, so our vertices, edges, and faces, those are the number keys, right? So if you press 1, I want to go into vertice mode, right? So I can drag, a couple of the vertices and then move them around, right? 2 is for edges. So edges. 3 is for faces, right? Move them along. If you press X, yeah, okay, that's what it is. If you press X, see this little magnet up here? So this is turning the snapping on. So press X to snap, and then when you move stuff, it'll snap to grid, right? So yeah, 1 is for vertices, 2 is for edges. So I turn X to snap, so you go along. And then 3 is for faces, right? And then 4 is for just selecting the entire shape, right? I'll just move everything at once. And you can move, rotate, scale, all that good stuff. If you hold down Shift while you're doing stuff, it's kind of like really fine-tune adjusting. So like moving, rotating, scaling, all that good stuff. All right. Now, if you right-click on something, there's a object context menu. So you can move, snap, parent, delete, change the origin, right, of different shapes. You can smooth it, you can flatten it. There's lots of different options into there. If you hit Enter while something's selected, you can rename it. So let's say this is a, hit Enter and type, this is a wedge, I guess. Oops, there we go. So that's a wedge, right? It's a quick rename. And then I'm going to press X and let's say I'm going to move this over here, right? And then I'm going to press Control D. And then, okay, that's what I was trying to do. When you're moving something, like when you duplicate it, you can press whatever key on your keyboard that corresponds with the axis you want to move it along. And it'll only move in that direction. That was what I was trying to do. So one more time, if I have this over here, right, Control D, and then I press, if I want to move it left and right, that's the Y-axis, the green, so I press Y, and see that highlights, and then I move my mouse and it'll snap along that. Or if I want to move on X, press X, and it's moving this way. Or if I press Z, I move it up and down, right? So I'll move it on Y, put it right there, and then when you click it, it'll put the shape there. Right? So yeah, WER, move, rotate, scale. Q is to kind of quit out of what you're currently doing. 1 for vertices, 2 for edges, 3 for faces, 4 for the entire object. So I want to move this back this way, over here, and then I need to turn snapping back on. There we go. Right? Yeah. And then we're going to move this edge here. We're going to move it back up like that. Good. Q. Now for some of the modeling tools, right, if you're in the modeling mode here, right, you have a lot more options that show up. Here's some of the common things that you can do, right? So let's say if I wanted to extrude, right, I could go into face mode. Yes? Yeah. You come over here. Oh yeah. We were doing that just a minute ago. Oh yeah. I wish other programs would have that as well. That's really handy.
What?
This kind of like this manipulator over here.
Oh wow.
So you can kind of orbit around or like X, Z, Y, and you know what you're looking at. Sometimes they'll be like, I can't see which direction it is. Yeah. And you can always tell this is up, this is underneath, right? So yeah, real handy. Very handy. All right. So yeah, just like Eli was saying, I don't know if y'all heard that. If I go into face mode, so 3 and left click, you can press Control E, and it'll extrude, right? And then you can drag this, right? And because I have X turned on, it's snapping, right? Move it this way. And if you press one of the keys in this mode, so X, Y, Z will move in that direction, and it's snapping, right? And then let's say that I've got my shape here moved out. Press Control E again, and I'm going to press R, and then you can scale this down a little bit, right? Right? So move this back and forth. Right? And then if I wanted to bevel something, which is basically doing what we just did, there's a bevel tool over here, and I believe that's, yeah, shortcut is Control B. So Control B, and then you should be able to drag, and it creates another like edge of faces in between. So if you want to get kind of a shape like that, right? Control B. There's also an option for you to be able to, let's say I select both faces, so like this side and that side, and then let's see, I right click, and then I have a bunch of options along here too. So I'm going to do extrude individual faces and then just drag them, and they'll go out evenly from both sides, which is nice. So I can come out this way, and then I press R, and because they're both selected, I can do some stuff like that, right? Like a very low poly TIE fighter. Yeah. Yeah, I guess we could do that. We could do a TIE fighter. Yeah, so I'm going to do Control, let's see, right click. Yeah, let's do that one more time and then pull out a little bit more.
What is that, extrude or bevel? Extrude, right?
Yeah, I'm just extruding. I'm right clicking, and it'll give you some options that you most likely use, which is awesome. And your mouse cursor automatically hovers over right here.
Yeah, I honestly like the extruding and beveling better on here than my...
I do too. It's nice. I'm going to do that one more time. Just a little bit farther, right? And then I'm going to take this, and that, and this, and that, and then we're going to right-click again. Extrude individual faces. Oh, I went the wrong way.
And it goes one way too.
Uh-huh. So we've got like a TIE fighter going on, right? And then press R, and we're going to pinch it a little bit.
Look at you, model.
And then we could probably take, if you want to select like these faces here and go around, you just kind of double click and it'll find the edge loop. So these are actually going around this way, right?
So if you do that in edge mode and double click, you'll get all the surrounding.
Yeah, so see the edge flow is going this way if I double click on it. So I want to just do this and hold shift, click. Right, and then we'll do this side. So the edge flow is actually going the other way. It's actually going around instead of like that, which is fine. No, it's depending on how the shape is modeled.
See, are you scaling it there? Or are you moving?
Yeah, I'm scaling it, so I can make it really thin, right, or make it really thick like that. Look, that looks like a TIE fighter. Yeah. You gotta make the sound effects, right? I always forget. Enter is not to like, hey, I'm done. That's like, I want to rename it, so I'll do like TIE Fighter, whatever, right? And then I've already got this right, and it's centered, so let's just say this is done, right? My little TIE Fighter. And then I am going to go press 4 and select the entire shape, right? This is at the origin, so that's good. Shh. And then I'm going to go up to File, Export, in FBX. There it is. It scared me for a second. I was like, where is FBX? I'm putting it on a desktop, and we'll call this, yeah, SM for static mesh. If it has bones in it, it's SK. And Unreal, that's just kind of standard. So SM underscore TIE Fighter.
Do you have to do any preferences to it?
There's some things that you can change down here if it's multiple objects or you have animation, right? You can kind of change these and whatnot if you need to. I usually just leave it default and see how it turns up in the engine. So there's our file right here. So if I go back to Unreal, right, here's the stuff we were doing earlier. I'm going to go to Geometry again like last week. And I'm going to right click, or you can do Import. And I'm going to go find my, whoa, I hate it when it does that. I'm going to do SM TIE Fighter, right? And then here's all of our options. Click Import. So there's an option in Blender for you to do the smooth faces and whatnot. I just didn't have that turned on, so that's okay. It's going to look a little bit blocky. If I get it into here, right? See how the scale is so much different from Maya?
Yeah.
I just brought it in. You know, this was the base cube, right? You can see where we started with. See how big that is compared to this.
Blender is smaller in Maya.
Yeah, it's actually Blender is, I guess, closer to being correct.
Yeah. Because in Maya it makes it so small.
But in this case, it doesn't really matter. You just scale it how big you want it.
Yeah, so you can change whatever, but you have to be careful.
Josh, can you also scale it when you export it? Isn't that a thing?
Oh, what's up, Patrick? Yeah, there's when you export it out, you should be able to change the size, I think. Yeah, right here. So if I did SM TIE Fighter 2, and then we'll change the scale to C2. Yeah, export, and then we'll import. No, I don't want to copy it. Import. TIE Fighter 2, import. Yep. So yeah, you can scale it up right here. Yeah, one more time.
Those, the 1, 2, and 3, they're increments of 100. How's it going?
Oh, it's just like the overall scale. So it's twice as big as the other one, right? And then it'll probably have some collision built in for you. You can change that. We might go over that next time. So, see, I'm kind of bumping into it. I can't go underneath.
Yeah, you can just go to the.
But you know, if we were making that, Jedi Fallen Order, the Star Wars game in Unreal, right? This could be a placeholder TIE Fighter in your map. Be like if you're making a hangar or whatever.
Still wouldn't be able to cut through it.
Yeah. Or we walk on a trigger pad and it flies off or something, plays a cutscene or something.
Is this going to be on
The noise.
YouTube
Yeah.
channel?
Yep. Make a whole hanger of these, right? Does anybody have any questions about how Blender works? Once you understand the controls or whatever, keyboard shortcuts, you should be okay.
Can you change the grid like you did in Maya?
Yeah, you can change the grid. That's under Eli. Where is that under? It's under preferences, I think. It's not under here. Okay. I'm trying to remember where that section is. I can't remember off the top of my head.
But you can remember that one grid is 1 meter.
Yeah, you're just talking about these, right?
One
Yeah.
grid in Blender is 100 Unreal units.
Okay.
Yeah, one
That's
of
what
these
that's what I was
here.
thinking too when I saw them change it.
Yeah, as one Unreal Engine. Yeah. Alrighty. Cool. Well, we'll pick up with this stuff next week. I'll probably email some more stuff over the weekend, early next week, and then we'll just keep plugging on ahead. Cool. Alrighty.